Now, we know that lithosphere is the land mass, and we last time read about this isthmus, and we read about the straits. Now, isthmus is when two pieces of land are connected by a narrow strip of landmass, that is called an isthmus. Whereas when two water bodies are connected by a stream of small, thin water body connecting the two huge water bodies, that is known as a strait. Now we were dealing about lithosphere, the solid part of the earth. Now we know that the big land masses which are present on the earth are 29% present, and that means out of 100, 29% is the earth is made up of the land, and 71% it is of water. So 29% of big land masses which are found, they are the continents. And when we were reading about the continents, we came to know that there are seven major continents, and among them, Asia is the largest continent, and Australia being the smallest. Then we took up in detail about Asia, where we know that Asia has that Tropic of Cancer passing through it, and it is separated from Europe through Ural Mountains. Then we also came to know that Asia and Europe, these two continents, when we talk of them together, we call them Eurasia. Then we also came to know about why it is called the continent of extremes. Now, Asia is called the continent of extremes. Why? Because it has the highest range of mountain, that is the Himalayas. Then the highest plateau is also present in Asia, that is Tibet Plateau. And then we talked of there is a lowest part present, which is a Dead Sea. So, highest and lowest both are present here. That is why it is called the continent of extremes. Then we talked of the second continent, Africa. Now we know that Africa is the only continent through which, if we see, the equator passes. Can you see this? 0 degree here. 0 degree equator passes through Asia, through Africa. Then can you see 30 degrees west? Sorry, 30 degrees north and 30 degrees south. That means below it will be 23.5 degrees, Tropic of Cancer. 23.5 degrees north is passing through here, Tropic of Cancer passes here. And then can you see the below portion? 23.5 degrees, Tropic of Capricorn. So, three major latitudes pass through Africa, the equator, then the Tropic of Cancer, and then Tropic of Capricorn in the south. We also came to know that Africa is connected with the through Isthmus of Suez. It is connected with Asia. Okay. Then we also came to know that it is the Mediterranean Sea in the north which separates it from Europe. Now I would like to show you. This is the Mediterranean Sea. Can you see Europe above? Can you see Africa here? So this sea body, this particular sea body is the one which connects, which separates Europe from Africa. Okay. Then we also came to know that since the continent was very thickly populated, it was, sorry, thickly forested, not populated, I'm sorry, thickly forested. So basically, it remained unknown for a very large amount of time. It was the last continent to be discovered by the Europeans. So the Europeans called it the dark continent. So why Africa is called a dark continent? Because it was late, very later. It was much later that it was discovered, and it was in darkness till people were not knowing about it. Now we come on to the third continent, that is North America for this class. North America is the third largest continent of the world. This continent connects, just a second, is connected to South America by a very narrow strip of land called Isthmus of Panama. Now, if you see North America here is connected with South America by this narrow strip of land called Isthmus of Panama. Please underline that. Isthmus of Panama, and separated from Asia by Bering Strait. It is separated from Asia this side here in the Alaska side where I've put a tick mark. If you see the whole world map, it is connected here with Asia. Okay, so it is separated from Asia by Bering Strait. Okay, the small water body that is present is Bering Strait. Okay, I'll just try to show you. I hope I'm clear, but in case I'm not, I'll just show you. Okay, can you see this part of the earth? Now, here the water body, if you go around the world and see this area, you will know that this area is connected by North America. Asia is separated by North America by the strait, and that strait is called the Bering Strait. Okay, so you need to underline this also. I hope till here I'm clear. Okay, North America has vast plateaus, mountain ranges, and extensive plains. I hope I'm on a call. Can you all hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am, on the photo to join the call.
Can you all hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Was
ma'am.
was the call broken or was it continued?
It was continued.
Ma'am,
Okay,
it
then
was
it, and is the screen sharing still available?
No,
no,
ma'am.
ma'am. No, ma'am.
I'm doing it again. I'm sorry. I was trying to show you things and then I got confused. So is the screen visible now?
No, ma'am.
Okay.
No, ma'am.
Okay. Should I continue even if it is not visible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
Okay. So, North America has vast plateaus, mountain ranges, and extensive plains. Many uh, many glacial lakes are found in this part. The five Great Lakes between Canada and USA and the St. Lawrence River together form the greatest inland waterways. Now, if I show you the map here, you will see these are the five major lakes which are present here. Okay, and these are the intensive water supply sources for North America. Okay, then we move on to the next picture. Here, a glimpse of various continents and their photographs. Like the first picture, you see Antarctica continent, which is on the south pole. If you turn over the if you turn the globe, this is the in the center you are seeing the south pole. Okay, and from above the picture has been taken. Okay. Then the second picture is showing you the penguins in Antarctica. Okay. Then they are showing you the Sydney, Australia. They have shown you the picture of the next continent, Australia. Then they are showing you the elephants gaze in equatorial plains below Kilimanjaro, the highest mountain in Africa. Then the picture is showing you the mighty Himalayas here. Okay. And then the last below picture is showing you Milford Sound is the best known of the many, what is it, fjords that indent the South Islands in New Zealand. So they have shown you the various pictures. Let's move. Okay, in the world, the highest point in is Mount McKinley, and the lowest point is the Death Valley. So these are the two important things they have told you about South America, North America. Now we come on to the next continent, that is South America. The South America is the fourth largest continent of the world. It extends from 12 degrees north to 55 degrees south latitudes and from 35 degrees west to 81 degrees west longitudes. It lies mostly in the southern hemisphere. The equator passes through this continent. Now, again, they are telling you that this particular continent lies in the southern. Okay, if you see the continent, you will see that major portion of it, of South America, lies in the southern part. You can see the 0 degree equator, and you will know that below it, major portion of it is in the southern half. Okay, the equator passes through this continent. Then Mount Aconcagua is the highest peak in the Andes Mountains. Now there are Andes range of mountains, just as we have Himalayas, and in Himalayas, Mount Everest is the highest. The range of mountains called the Andes Mountains, underline it, and among them, Mount Aconcagua is the highest peak. Okay, then the lowlands occupy about half of South America. Now, in South America, majorly there are low-lying lands. That means uh, very not very high lands. They are low lands. Okay, Amazon, the largest river of the world. Underline it. Amazon, the largest river of the world, is the most important river of the continent. Okay, like for Africa, we had heard that Nile is the longest river of the world. It is the longest, whereas Amazon River is the largest river with lot of water content in it. Okay, so Nile is in Africa, which is the longest river, सबसे लंबी river है. But at the same time, Amazon is the largest river. Okay, now we come on to the next is Antarctica. Antarctica is this area. Can you see? This purple area is Antarctica. That means the South Pole area. Now, to see a better picture, we could see from here. Okay, this is the better picture. When we have seen it, we have inverted the globe and we are seeing the the South Pole on top. Okay, so let's read it. Antarctica is the fifth largest continent of the world. It lies completely in the southern hemisphere. It spreads around the South Pole. Due to thick ice cover, it is known as the white continent or the frozen continent. So, wherever it is written this, please underline it, the white continent or the frozen continent. Now, why it is called? Because it is thickly covered with ice. It is towards the South Pole. Okay, so it is also known as the white continent or the frozen continent. Now, the highest peak of this continent is in the Vinson massive is the Vinson Massive, underline Vinson Massive, which is permanently covered with huge ice sheets. Now, Antarctica is surrounded by the Pacific, the Atlantic, and the Indian Ocean. Let us see it, please. Antarctica, if you see from top, acha, here they have not mentioned. Let's come here. So, see, Antarctica is surrounded by the Pacific Ocean. Can you see the Pacific Ocean here? It is here, this area, which is the Pacific Ocean, then Indian Ocean. Can you see? And then the Atlantic Ocean is here, this particular area. So just let me show you by doodling on it. So this area is the Pacific Ocean. Here is the Atlantic Ocean. Here is the Indian Ocean. So from three sides, it is surrounded by these three oceans: India, Pacific Ocean, Atlantic Ocean, and Indian Ocean. So this continuous water body is also called Southern Ocean. So all these three together, they are also known as Southern Oceans. Okay, Southern Oceans. So actually, Southern Oceans is a mixture of three oceans, that is the Pacific Ocean, the Atlantic, and the Indian Ocean. I hope I'm clear till here.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So then we move on to the further. Antarctica has a couple of mountain ranges and a vast plateau around the South Pole. It has a few known resources, but there are no native people living there. So now it is so thickly covered with ice nearly throughout the year that life is not very easily possible. So there are very less natives living here. You must have heard about Eskimos, the igloos, etc. So it is this area where these Eskimos live. Okay, but still the people are very lesser in number. Many countries have their research stations in Antarctica. Now, basically, Antarctica, since it is snow covered, they have their geographical stations here. Many countries have occupied, not exactly occupied, they have built up their research stations here. Now, India also has one research station here. These are named as Maitri and Dakshin Gangotri. Please underline the two research stations which India has in Antarctica. They are known as Maitri and Dakshin Gangotri. Dakshin is south, and Gangotri, the river Ganga originates from the glacier Gangotri. So, river Ganga flows in India and it is in the northern hemisphere. But since and in Antarctica they have a station, so they have named it, since it is Antarctica is in the south, so they called it Dakshin Gangotri. Okay, so these are the two stations, underline them, as it has great scope scientific study of weather. It is also called the continent of science. Now, Antarctica, the other name for it is the continent of science. Why? Because many send their geographical teams, and you must have seen it in the National Geographics also, that the stations are established here and people come and they study about the weather here, the animal kingdom which is found here, the seals, the walruses, the penguins, etc. So people come here and study. Then we talk of the next continent, Europe. Europe is the sixth largest continent of the world. It extends from 36 degrees north to 75 degrees north latitudes and 10 degrees west to 64 degrees east longitude. It lies entirely in the temperate zone. Now, if you see the zone, let me show you the zone. Uh, We are talking of Europe here, this pink portion. And if you remember, equator Then after that, equator till 23.5 degrees Capricorn and 23.5 degrees Tropic of Cancer, we have the torrid zone, the hottest zone. Then above that, we have the temperate zone. So it is Europe, major portion lies in the temperate zone, leaving a few topmost, which is in the frigid zone. Can you see that? Major portion of Europe is in the temperate zone. So this is what they are telling you, that it lies entirely in the temperate zone. Then the Arctic Circle passes through it. Can you see? Arctic Circle is at 66.5 degrees. This is the 60 degrees. A little above it, can you see the dotted line? That is the 66.5 degree. I'll show you. Okay. Can you see this dotted area? This is the 66.5 degrees. So this is the Arctic Circle they are talking of, passes through it. It is bound by the water bodies on three sides. Now you can see one side, second side, and third side. From all three sides, it is surrounded by the water bodies. And on the fourth side, we have the Asia continent. Okay. So Europe is a continent of high mountains and vast plains. There are many active volcanoes in this continent. Mount Blanc is the highest peak in the Alps. Underline Mount Blanc. Now, again, just like we have Himalayan ranges, they have Alps. And then among the Alps, they have Mount Blanc as the highest peak, while Mount Elbrus, which is in the Caucasus Mountains, is the highest mountain peak in Europe. So in Alps, the highest mountain peak is Mount Blanc, whereas the highest mountain peak in Europe in general is in the Caucasus Mountains. It is known as Mount Elbrus. Okay, underline all these details. Then we come on to the next heading, Australia. Now, Australia is the smallest continent and the sixth largest country in the world. Now, you'll be amazed that Australia is the only continent which is also a country. Just as India is a country and it is a part of a big, huge Asia continent, but Australia is the only continent which is a land mass and it's called a separate continent, but at the same time is a country also. It lies entirely in the southern hemisphere and it extends from 10 degrees south to 44 degrees south latitude and 112 degrees east to 154 degrees east longitude. The Tropic of Capricorn passes through the middle of this continent. Now, again, if you see, we are talking of Australia right now here, and it is in the southern part of the earth. Can you see the equator here? And then below the equator is Australia, and Tropic of Capricorn is passing through it. Okay, a major part of Australia is a plateau with a few isolated mountain ranges. The Great Barrier Reef is a unique feature found along the northeastern coast of Australia. The northeastern coast of Australia will be somewhere here. This area. Okay, I'm telling you this area. This is the reef area. Okay, now Great Barrier Reef is somewhere here, which is built by corals, and you won't believe the sea deposits. Have you heard about seashells, etc.? They get deposited in this area, and this is known and they form a coral. Coral is you must have seen जो सीप होती है, snails and शंख बन करके आते हैं ना, those small things, they are the coral deposits. So we find a coral belt here. Then Mount Kushikos is the highest point of this continent. So please underline Mount Kushikos. Kosciuszko. Underline that is the highest point in the continent. Australia is surrounded on all sides by oceans and seas. Now, if you see it, It is surrounded by oceans and seas from all the sides, whichever side you see. Okay, therefore it is called an island continent. Now we know that what is an island? A landmass surrounded by water on all sides. And if you see this here, you will know that it is surrounded by water on all sides. So that is why it is the only continent which is also known as an island continent. Okay,
अरे लेफ्ट तो होने दो कितनी बार
please keep quiet. So with this we end the class now. Thank you.